Hello and welcome. I'm a hotel AI expert, and I'm really pleased to welcome all of you from Europe Hotel School to this online learning journey. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most critical, high-stakes decisions that happens behind the scenes in every single hotel. It's something that can make or break an operation, so let's get right into it.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to tackle the big problem, that procurement balancing act every manager deals with. Then we'll introduce the solution, the industry secret really. After that, we'll get practical and look at 3 case studies, your daily consumables, the crazy linen cycle, and yep, even china and glassware. And we'll wrap it all up by showing you exactly why this stuff matters for your career.
All right, I want you to put yourself in the shoes of a general manager for a second. Every single day, you're basically walking a tightrope. On one side, you've got this huge financial investment. We're talking serious money. And on the other side, the happiness of every single guest walking through your doors. That tightrope? Well, that's your inventory. And trust me, one wrong step can have some pretty major consequences.
And really, it all boils down to this one simple question that is honestly terrifying for a lot of managers. Do you order too little or do you order too much? It sounds so straightforward, right? But as you're about to see, getting this wrong, well, the fallout can be an absolute disaster.
So let's play this out. Let's look at the 2 nightmares here. On one hand, you order too little. What happens? You're completely sold out for the weekend, and you run out of clean towels. Now you've got unhappy guests, and that's a direct hit to your reputation online. Not good. But, okay, let's say you swing the other way and order way too much. Now you've just got cash, literally sitting on shelves, gathering dust in a stockroom. That's capital that's tied up, money your owner would much rather see being put to work somewhere else.
So how do the best in the business avoid these nightmares? Well, I can tell you one thing. They don't guess. They use a powerful, proven principle to find that perfect sweet spot. And it's called the par level.
So what in the world is a par level? You can think of it as your magic number. It's the exact amount of any given item, shampoo, towels, you name it, that you need to have to run your operation flawlessly. But, and this is the important part, it's not just about what's sitting on a shelf in the storeroom. A true par level accounts for everything. The towels that are in the guest rooms right now, the ones being washed in the laundry, even the new ones on a delivery truck. It even accounts for the ones that, inevitably get lost or damaged. It's the whole picture.
All right, enough with the theory. Let's get our hands dirty and see how this actually works in the real world. We'll start with something simple, daily consumables. All those little things like shampoo bottles, soaps, and notepads that guests go through every single day.
Now, what's great about these items, and what makes them a perfect starting point, is their super simple life cycle, right? A guest uses it, it gets tossed, and housekeeping puts a new one in the next day. It's a really predictable pattern, which makes our first calculation pretty straightforward.
So let's break down the logic here. It's a simple formula. First, you figure out your usage per day. How many little bottles of shampoo does one occupied room need? Okay. Then you multiply that by the number of rooms you think you'll have full. Next, you decide how many days of supply you want to keep on hand. Let's say 30 days. And finally, you always add a little bit extra, your safety stock. That's your buffer, just in case a shipment is late or you get an unexpected rush of guests.
So let's actually run the numbers on this. Imagine you've got a 300-room hotel, and you're running at about 80% occupancy. That's 240 rooms that need shampoo every single day. If you want a 30-day supply, you're looking at 7,200 bottles. That's your par level. That's the number you order, plus a bit more for your safety stock. See? It's a simple formula, but it gives you a really precise, really powerful number to guide your purchasing.
Okay, so that's consumables. But what about the stuff that isn't single use? I'm talking about things like towels and bed sheets. They're in constant motion, right? From the room to the laundry to storage and back to the room again. This is what we call the linen cycle, and calculating the par level for this, well, that's a whole different ballgame.
So, to make absolutely sure you never run out of clean sheets, which would be a catastrophe, a quality hotel needs to have multiple sets of linen for every single room. Just think about it with me for a second. Part 1, that's the set that's actually in the guest room being used. Part 2, that's a set down in the laundry, being washed. Part 3, that's a clean set on a housekeeper's cart ready for the next room. Part 4, that's another full set sitting in your main warehouse as a backup. And finally, Part 5, an extra set just to cover for normal wear and tear and loss over time. That's right, 5 complete sets of linen for every single room.
So let's go back to our 300-room hotel. The math is simple, but the result is pretty staggering. You take 300 rooms and you multiply it by 5 par sets. That means you have to buy 1,500 complete sets of sheets, duvet covers, and pillowcases before you can even open your doors. That is a massive upfront capital investment, but it is absolutely critical to prevent a complete service failure down the line.
All right, for our third and final case, let's talk about things that are durable, but also really fragile. I'm talking about china, glassware, and silverware, or what we in the industry just call CGS. Now, the main challenge here isn't so much a daily cycle, it's the simple, inevitable fact that things are going to break.
I mean, these things are designed to be used over and over. But in a busy hotel restaurant or with in-room dining carts rolling down the halls, breakage is just a fact of life. So when we're calculating our par levels for CGS, we have to plan for it. We have to proactively account for this loss by building in something called a breakage factor.
For things like plates and glasses, the calculation starts with what we call covers. That's just the number of guests you can serve at any one time. As a rule of thumb, you'll want 2 or 3 plates for every single seat in your restaurant. But, and here's the crucial part, you have to add a significant buffer for breakage, sometimes as much as 25 or 30% on top of that. And why so much? Because you have to order enough in your very first shipment to last you the entire year. The last thing you want is to run out of your custom-branded plates 6 months in.
Here's a really simple way to visualize this. For every 4 plates you order, only 3 of them are really for serving guests. That 4th plate? That's your pre-purchase replacement for the one you already know is going to break eventually. That 25% buffer isn't waste at all. Think of it as your operational insurance policy.
Okay, so we've covered consumables, we've waded through the linen cycle, and we've talked about glassware. 3 totally different types of items, each with its own calculation. But all of this, it all comes back to one single critical point, the undeniable link between smart purchasing and a hotel's overall performance.
Now, I want you to really let this next thought sink in, because it says everything. A hotel's ability to service guests flawlessly depends entirely on the initial purchase quantity. The choices you make about how much to buy before a single guest even checks in will directly define your ability to deliver a perfect experience months or even years down the road. It is just that fundamental. And that, right there, is the real power of mastering par levels. It's not just about counting things. It's about achieving 2 absolutely crucial goals at the same time. You give your operational team the tools they need to create those perfect guest experiences, and you prove to your owners and investors that you are a smart, efficient manager of their capital. You're hitting both sides of the coin. So I'll leave you with this final thought, a question to carry with you as you start your careers. Picture it. It's the busiest night of the year. The hotel is completely sold out. The pressure is on. And the question is, because of the work you did months ago, is your inventory ready to handle it?